Hey there, how goes? Zoom Developer Advocate here, Dante Small. In this video, I'm going to walk through implementing the OAuth public PKCE flow with Zoom. Zoom now supports both confidential OAuth clients and public OAuth clients. Public OAuth clients are designed for applications that cannot securely store a client secret, such as mobile apps, desktop applications, single page applications, or applications running entirely on the front end. In this video, I'll be demonstrating the flow using Postman to model the request manually so we can better understand each step of the authorization flow. So let's get started. So I'm currently in the Zoom Marketplace, and the first thing I'm going to do is create an OAuth application for testing. I'll give the app a name, and I'll keep it configured as a user level OAuth app. So I'll go ahead and name it public PKCE. And one thing you'll immediately notice is that Zoom now provides an option labeled use a public OAuth client. This is what enables the PKCE flow for public applications. Once enabled, Zoom generates a public client ID for the application, and unlike confidential OAuth applications, public clients do not use a client secret. Next, we need to configure the OAuth redirect URL. This redirect URL is required because Zoom needs to know where to send the authorization code after the user successfully authenticates. I'll also add at least one OAuth scope so the application can request access to user resources. An example, I'll use the user read scope. At this point, our OAuth application is configured and ready to use. Now, let's move over to Postman. I already have a GET request prepared that points to Zoom's authorization endpoint. This request will be responsible for initiating the OAuth authorization flow. The first thing I want to verify is that the redirect URL in Postman exactly matches the redirect URL configured in the Zoom Marketplace app settings. Next, I'll add the public client ID generated by Zoom. Now we need to generate a PKCE code challenge. The PKCE flow works by generating a code verifier on the client side, then transforming that verifier into a SHA-256 encoded code challenge. The authorization server stores the code challenge during the authorization request and later validates the original verifier during the token exchange. This helps protect public clients from authorization code interception attacks. To generate a SHA-256 encoded code challenge value, I will use a free SHA-256 tool and copy the value into the request as a code challenge. With everything configured, now I can send the authorization request. You'll notice Zoom redirects us to the OAuth consent screen where the user can approve access to requested scopes. After clicking Allow, Zoom redirects us back to the configured redirect URL with the authorization code attached to the URL. This authorization code is temporary and will be exchanged for an access token in the next step. So now I'll copy the authorization code and move over to my post request for Zoom's token endpoint. Before sending a request, let's quickly review the configuration. For authentication, no auth is selected because public clients do not authenticate with a client secret. The request body is configured as an application form URL encoded. Inside the body, we provide the authorization code, public client ID, and most importantly, the original code verifier that we used to generate the code challenge earlier. This is a critical step in the PKCE flow because Zoom will validate that the verifier matches the original challenge from the authorization request. Once everything is configured, I can send the request. As you can see, Zoom successfully returns an access token. At this point, the OAuth PKCE flow is complete, and the application can now make authorized API requests on behalf of the user. So that's it for now. We just walked through how to implement Zoom OAuth for public clients using the PKCE authorization flow. Until next time, happy coding.